Welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast. Real conversations about the grit, grace, and gratitude it takes to be the savvy leader you were always meant to be. Welcome back. In case you're new around here, I'm Kristin and I'm your host. This week, it is just you and me. I love these solo weeks. And I wanted to talk to you about all this fire horse energy, the North Star, integrity, and how all of that plays into alignment. Because alignment isn't just some buzzword. It isn't aesthetic. It certainly isn't curated, and it's not even peaceful at first. It's a feeling way deep down inside your body. It's there if you listen. And I'd like to start with a story. A few days ago, I hiked the Cathedral of the Palms trail at the St. Mark's National Wildlife Refuge in North Florida. And that hike revealed far more than I ever expected that day. It's a solid 6 miles, and I'd call it moderately difficult, not because of terrain, but because there wasn't much by way of signage, so download a trail app before you head out. Be sure to read it, better than I did. No real rest stops except one about halfway through. Certainly nowhere to use a restroom. And if you were following me, you might have already seen a short video that I posted on social while I was there. And I was having this incredible revelation. What I didn't share fully, though, was what was happening to me internally that day. When I started that hike, I was curious. It was one of the most popular trails in the area. People talked about it and sought it out all the time. Cathedral of the Palms. It sounded almost mythical. I couldn't wait to see it. If I'm honest, I wasn't even sure it was really real, I wondered if it was just a phrase, something poetic that someone thought out that had maybe outgrown itself in description. I wasn't fully convinced it was actually 6 miles either. Those trails, sometimes they exaggerate. But I started out, I was energized, anticipatory, absolutely curious, and completely unprepared. I really was. I had no water. I didn't use a restroom before I left. No real understanding of what to expect beyond what I could see on my trail app that I didn't actually open up until I realized I was what? Way off course. But we'll get to that. There was minimal signage and there were other trails around, so it got a little confusing. So on brand for me, though. When curiosity and excitement take hold, let's just go. Let's do it. Let's check it out. Let's see what there is to see. That's me. I don't slow down, and I certainly not going to ask enough questions because I figure, hey, I'll figure it out. And usually I do. But how does that fall in with alignment? Partway down, maybe a mile or so in, I was getting this feeling that I probably wasn't heading in the right direction. Matter of fact, I was heading in the perfectly wrong direction, and for quite some time. I know I went at least a mile before I admitted that something felt off. Like I said, there weren't a lot of clear markers along this path. And there were other trails nearby. And when I saw hikers in the distance, I thought, hey, I bet they've done this before. I'll follow them. They must know where they're going. They probably live around here. And then it hit me, which I've done that more than once in my life, in business and relationships. When someone speaks with certainty, I can allow their confidence to override my own internal navigation. I don't always speak up. I listen and I observe. I calculate. It's not because I lack confidence. It's because I move fast. I love momentum. I love change. I love new environments and especially new beginnings. It feels like this urgency building in my body like a horse at the gate. And a little bit of FOMO, if I'm totally honest. But that fire horse intensity, it doesn't always pause for discernment, does it? And I started asking myself on that trail, where am I? Am I heading in the right direction? And I can't say that this is the first time I've asked myself that on any given trail on any given day of the week. Interestingly, though, when I host gatherings, whether personal or professional, I leave no stone unturned. Every detail is thought through and accounted for to ensure the best experiential memories for all of my guests. I find that fascinating because for my own journey, I just move. I endure. I figure it out. I have exceptional endurance, by the way. Pain, it doesn't stop me. I was feeling some pain and discomfort on that trail that day, no doubt. I didn't know if I was going to fully make it. Loyalty, though. Loyalty can keep me longer than I should stay sometimes, too. I'm not a quitter, and that's a powerful thing to know about yourself because it can be costly, too. Alignment isn't about stamina, though. It is about direction. After that course correction, I eventually reached almost the halfway point, and that was Shepherd Springs. There was a bench there to sit and relax, though I met some new friends at the same time. That area, stunning. Blue, green, deep teal water, soft moss on those trees, birds in the distance, a single gator gliding through the stillness. It felt almost sacred. I thought I could stay there forever. And it represented something else for me. It was excitement. It was a little bit of a win and a proof. Maybe this Cathedral of the Palms wasn't entirely hype. Proof that something beautiful existed further ahead. Maybe, but here's the interesting part. Shepherd Springs could have possibly been enough for me. Have you ever done that? You drudge a path, you're tired, you reach a small win and you think, maybe this is as good as it gets. But real alignment doesn't stop at good. It calls you further, if only you'll listen. By the time I left the Springs, I was tired, and I was still unsure of how far I had to go. Like I said, the signs were unclear. And here's the deeper layer. When I overextend myself in work or any other kind of commitment, my heart goes into overdrive, literally, and I struggle to calm it. My body doesn't easily shift out of that kind of stress or anxiety, and I know this about myself. I've been recognizing it so much more closely lately. If I'm not careful, I may try to artificially calm it too with a drink or some kind of distraction, but something to counteract what's happening physiologically in my body, that too is not alignment. That's just compensation. That's just me trying to balance out something because I'm not listening to my body. What my body is trying to tell me is to be patient. Patience is not a natural gift for me. In this RV life, being on the road, this has actually forced a kind of refinement for me. We eat a little bit better. We have more balance, more introspection, a little more space. I'm healthier now than I feel like I've been in years. And I think this year isn't going to be quite about expansion for me. Growth, yes, but growth with refinement. That sounds aligned. Fire refines, or it scorches. That same intensity that built businesses in me, carried me through hardship, helped me rebuild, has also taxed my body. And I can no longer ignore that. I have to pay attention. And patience. Patience is a big part of that for me. Interestingly enough, after I stepped away from the short Shepherd Springs trail and headed on the regular path, I had a moment where I almost took a left-hand turn because I thought that was probably it. That was probably the best that I was going to see that day, and I was tired, my feet hurt, my back was starting to ache, and a left turn might have been a little bit easier, a little shorter, a little faster. But I resolved and remembered I am not a quitter. So it doesn't look that much shorter. It can't possibly be that much easier. Just continue forward in the path that you chose. And then I kept going. I passed through that intersection forward. And what do you know? I arrived. The Cathedral of the Palms was absolutely real. Towering palms, filtered light, lush. Even in winter, there was something different about the air there. It exceeded my expectation. It didn't just meet them. I felt almost giddy. I tripped over some things on my way once I arrived because I just couldn't wait to get in there further and deeper. I felt relieved too, validated. And I knew that I was in the exact place that I was supposed to be at the exact time that I was supposed to be there. I wanted to stay, and I did. I took it in as best I could. But even there, I thought about capturing it and sharing it, seizing that moment. Because that too is in my DNA. Even in Revelation, I move. And that's where the integrity enters. Alignment is the feeling of being in the right place. Integrity is whether you honor that place fully or whether you rush past it without giving it the credit due. The unmarked trail felt like relationships to me. Sometimes we follow people because they sound certain. Sometimes we assume they know more, and sometimes we stay a little longer than we should because we're loyal. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to damn well do it. That's right. You might know that about me already. You can count on me once I make a commitment. But that loyalty, that kind of deep loyalty without discernment, that can keep you hiking in the perfectly wrong direction for far too long. This season of my life feels more solitary, but not isolated. It feels intentional. I'm relying more on my own navigation system, not because I don't value others, but because alignment requires self-trust. And self-trust requires listening before the momentum takes over. This is the year of the fire horse. For me, that brings out independence, intensity, drive, ambition. That energy has served me well. And it has also cost me. This year, though, I'm not asking for less ambition. What I'm asking for is better pacing, better preparation, and how about some better questions before heading out? Because ambition without orientation eventually costs you something, no question. When I think about spring this year, I think fresh air, wildflowers, and new opportunities. Renewal for the Savvy Living Network, the Savvy Leaders Lounge, and even the Savvy Real Estate Co. Growth doesn't require a frenzy. What it requires is an alignment and asking yourself, is this path marked for me? Or am I just following the movement? And that, my friends, is where the North Star orientation comes in. This is not a hype launch. It's not a productivity training either. It's for high capacity, momentum-driven leaders, the ones who move fast, the ones who endure, the ones who don't quit, the ones who follow certainty before checking their gut. This is a structured pause, a recalibration, a way to ask better questions before you hike that 6 miles without a bottle of water. It protects your health, your integrity, and your direction, because reaching the cathedral exhausted isn't the goal. Reaching it aligned and fulfilled absolutely is. If you remember one thing from this episode, let it be this. You don't have to follow unmarked trails anymore. Alignment isn't found in the speed. It's found in self-trust. Integrity is the willingness to prepare your heart before you pursue your horizon, and spring is coming. Let it be refinement, not frenzy. Maybe this year we reach the cathedral without exhausting ourselves along the way. I am so thankful for you joining me today. I'm grateful for you. I see you. And I hope you have a truly savvy day. Keep an eye out though, friends, because the North Star orientation is coming soon. Until next time, walk aligned. Thanks for listening to the Savvy Leader Podcast. Be sure to check out the description for any relevant links and additional details that we might have shared throughout this week's episode. And if you're looking to continue this conversation, we'd love to see you over at the Savvy Leaders Lounge on Substack or the Savvy Living Network for additional insights. That's savvylivingnetwork.com. We'll see you there.